Okay, so welcome back to another episode of Restaurant Remake, and today we're going to continue with our Maggiano restaurant series. So I am going to show you how to do the braised short ribs with pappardelle, and this is one of my favorite dish at the restaurant, and I believe that they no longer actually have this on the menu, which is really sad, but I'm excited because I know how to make this at home now. So I'm gonna give you a little sneak peek in terms of what is the end result. If you have not yet subscribed to our food travel shopping channel, please subscribe to our channel by hitting the subscribe button below, as well as hit the bell notification for our latest video and update. All right, so let's get cooking. Okay, so here are all the ingredients to recreate the Maggiano braised short rib pappardelle. Okay, so let's season our short rib first. Okay, so we're gonna season it with some pepper. Okay, we're gonna season all four sides here. Alright, so we're also gonna season it with our rosemary and our sage. Okay. Alright, so now we're gonna ready to sear each side first here. Alright, so we're gonna add some extra virgin olive oil. Okay, very excited here today. I'm using my new stub, La Croquette. So this one is a oval Dutch oven La Croquette that I got. And this was one of my Black Friday deal. Okay, I'm totally in love with the La Croquette right now. So very, very exciting. So can't wait to change my whole collection to become stub. Once the La Croquette is hot enough, we're gonna sear our short ribs. And we're gonna do that to each side. Alright, so while we're seasoning this, we want to turn our oven and preheat the oven 350 degrees because we need to bake this to make the short rib tender. And we're gonna braise it for at least 2 hours in the oven, so might as well just preheat your oven right now. Again, very nice color here as well. Okay, it doesn't take too long to brown them on each side. Alright, so after each side is seared, well, including the bone, let's do the bone right now. Alright, so now we can put it back in a bowl just temporarily. You want to take these out. Okay, so each side is nice and brown. That is lovely. Okay, you want to lower your heat to a medium-low heat. Now we're gonna add in our red onions. Gonna add in our celery. Alright, I'm gonna add in a little bit more black pepper here. Okay, we wanna cook this down until the onion is translucent. Alright, so once the onions and the celery is nicely caramelized, so now we're gonna deglaze the pan here. We're gonna deglaze our pot here with our red wine vinegar. And the balsamic vinegar as well. Okay, you want to scrape down your pot here. And we're gonna reduce this by half with a medium-high heat. Alright, so after we reduce it by half here, we can now add in our beef broth. Okay, we're gonna bring this to a simmer first. Okay, so once this is simmered back up, we are now gonna place our short rib back into the pot. Okay, so I usually like to place the bone on the bottom of the pot, and then the meat will face up. So now we can... Alright, so now we can actually close the lid. We're gonna turn off the we're gonna place our La Coquette into the oven for 2 hours, and we're gonna braise the short ribs for 250 degrees. Okay, so we actually have another 15 minutes to go for the baking, and we're gonna take a look at if we reach out the tenderness of the beef here. So we're pretty much good because this piece right here, it's literally, the meat can fall and be shredded. So we can take this out and actually let this cool down at the room temperature. And we're gonna leave it for another 15 minutes, and then we're gonna shred the meat. So that will continue to cook. Okay, so after 15 minutes of resting, we can now open it back up. Alright, we want to take out our short ribs. Okay, so there's a lot of oil. I'm just going to use a paper towel to actually absorb some of the oil on top first. Alright, so I'm going to do that one more time. Another paper towel here to absorb the layer of oil on top. Alright, so we really remove most of the oil, and now we can pour this in to a mixing bowl. Okay, there's some onions in there, so I'm going to scrape the onions back in, and possibly the onions and the celery. So just transfer it over completely. Alright. Okay, so with a hand blender, we are going to blend the sauce completely smooth. Alright, so with a hand mixer, you want to blend the sauce completely. Alright, so we're gonna we're gonna pull out our meat. So we're gonna remove the bone first. So you're gonna remove the bone. And we're just gonna use our hand to shred our beef here. So you wanna shred it. So look how tender it is. You can literally just hand pull all the meat. So I like to keep the tendon as well. So when I shred it, so look at how easy you can shred the short rib here. So I can smell and really smell the flavor. And you know, the best part of braising is really just to a point where the meat is just completely tender. Okay, so at Maggiano, I remember the taste is so good, you know, like I can't wait to finish making the sauce, but the beef, you know, the shredded beef is just really, really tender. So you just want to shred it to like bite-sized pieces.
嗰啲係絲㗎嘛，個 shred
都係啱嘅。
係咩？
Yeah. So basically when you're hand pulling it to shred, it's just like pulled pork, you know, very similar to pulled pork. So that's how you want it to have it. So there we have it. We have our hand pull shredded short ribs. Alright, so with our original La Croquette here, we are going to pour in our sauce. Now you want to use a strainer here to kind of remove the impurity of what we blended. So we want the sauce only. Alright, so even though we kind of puree it, we just want the sauce. So we want to reduce the sauce here. Okay, so you can see how pure this sauce is. Bring that to a boil, reduce the sauce here. This is where you can now season it with some salt and pepper. Alright, so the pasta is ready, so now we want to drain the pasta. Okay, once the sauce approximately reduced by half, we can put the shredded beef back in. So we want to add that back in. And finally, we're gonna mix it with our heavy cream. Okay, I'm gonna add in a little bit more black pepper. Now remember when I had it at Maggiano, they have lots of black pepper. Alright, so you can see it's gonna thicken up a little bit, so that's good. Alright, so we're gonna turn off the heat. Alright, so while the pasta is being cooked, we are going to use a braiser or another pan. We're gonna melt some butter. Alright, and then we're gonna put in our garlic, the minced garlic. Alright, make sure we don't burn our butter, so this is gonna be in a medium-low heat. Alright, so we're just gonna let the garlic cook in our pan here. Alright, once the pasta is ready, we're gonna drain the pasta and we're gonna transfer it over to this braiser here. Alright, so now once you drain the pasta, we're gonna add that back in here. into the braiser. All right, in a very low heat. All right, we're just gonna mix this together. All right, so we're just gonna give it a good toss so then at least the pasta won't stick together. And then we wanna just combine the garlic taste here with the pasta. All right, so we can remove this from heat once we mix this well. All right, so we're gonna pour in our short ribs here into the braiser. All right, so now we're just gonna toss the pasta. Okay, so now we're ready to serve. Okay, so now we're gonna garnish it with some parsley flakes. This is our Maggiano braised short ribs with Pappardelle. All right, so now this is like a family size serving. And if you don't want to serve it like this with the family size, you can put it nicely on a dish. Okay, so at Maggiano, they serve it in an oval plate. So this is what I have. I'm just gonna grab some pasta, the pappardelle. All right, so there we have it. Okay, this is our Maggiano braised short ribs pappardelle. And to garnish, again, we can put our cilantro here. And there we have it. All right, so this is where I am going to do a little taste test. All right, so I'm gonna have some short ribs and and let's try it out. The pasta is al dente. The beef short rib is so tasty. It is soft and tender, just like how I remember how I have it at the Maggiano. Now, if you want, you can also mix more sauce, and you want to have put in a little bit more, put a little bit more broth when we braise the beef. But I think this is overall a very good dish. The balsamic vinegar and the red wine vinegar really brings out the flavor, and it makes the dish not as heavy. Now, this dish can be a little bit heavy, on the heavier side. And because of the balsamic vinegar and the red wine, that flavor makes it a little bit lighter. I hope you enjoy another restaurant remake, and in this case, this is the Maggiano braised short ribs with pappardelle. And if this is your first time watching our video, I encourage you to check out my other video on the restaurant remake. And if you have not yet subscribed to our food travel shopping channel, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification for our latest video and update. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for our next video.